Alright people, what's up everyone, and welcome to another video, and I'm here to talk about a little movie called Candyman. Just got out of the theater not even 30 minutes ago from seeing this movie, and I was super excited to watch it because I love the original Candyman, the 1992, I'll say classic. I think it is a classic horror movie. Of course, not just a horror movie, a great piece of social commentary for sure. But a great horror movie, I think, and just a great movie in general. Great acting, great writing, great cinematography, like just great, pretty much all around the board. Love that movie. I love how psychological it gets too. Like you don't know if it's real at points. It's so good. It's such a great movie. And Tony Todd, what a legend. I love that man. I really do. Tony Todd, I get happy every time I see him in anything, whether it be Final Destination, whether it be the He-Man show that came out. When you hear his beautiful voice, big fan of Tony Todd, so I was happy to hear that he was returning in some form in this movie. And all the trailers look great. I mean, it's co-written by Jordan Peele. It has a really good cast of actors I like. And I was super excited. So, what did I think of the new Candyman, which is a direct sequel to the original movie, taking a little bit from the second one, just very little bits of information we gather from the second movie here. So, I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. I have a couple of negatives, and it's mainly like scenes and just some of the writing, but for the most part, it is really well done. When it gets right down to it, it is a perfect sequel to the original. Where the second movie and the third movie, especially the third one, just kind of become horror movies. This one is still a horror movie, don't get me wrong. It definitely is. There's a nice body count. I think there's around like 13, 14 deaths in this movie. Spoilers, I guess. So there's a lot of people that die. If you see the trailer, they kind of spoil most of those. I'm not gonna lie. But the movie's not about the kills really. It is about the social commentary, which is well done for the most part. And also just the intriguing lore that they add to the Candyman mythos, which I thought was really well done. When I was watching the trailer, they kept talking about like, oh, the Candyman's like legacy and how he became Candyman. And it was different from our Candyman, Daniel, of course, Robotal. I always pronounce his last name wrong. They tell you that is his name in the second one. They don't tell you that in the original. Our Candyman, Tony Todd, of course, was like different from the one that was in here, so I was a little confused in the trailers. They were telling a different story, but it makes sense when you see the movie, and a lot of theories were pretty much right. I'm not gonna say what theories, but there was a lot of theories like there's a line about it's the whole hive. Let's just say that, which I found really interesting. I thought that was really well done. This movie also does a great job with cinematography. I thought it was fantastic. There's a lot of mirror cinematography in this, where you see characters talking in the background through a mirror and stuff, which of course plays into the whole, say it 5 times into the mirror, Candyman, of course. Which I thought was really well done. The acting is very good for the most part. There's a couple of, not even a couple, it really was just one actor towards the end that got a little too over the top. But I think everybody did a great job. I will never be able to pronounce this man's name right, so I'm just going to say Black Manta from, of course, Aquaman. His name is like Yahya Abdul Mateen. I probably mispronounced that, so I'm just gonna say Black Manta from Aquaman is the main character in this one. Not gonna say what his role fits into the story really, but he does a great job, especially when he's starting to get a little bit loony when it comes to all this Candyman stuff. Tiana Paris, I think her name is, who was also in If Beale Street Could Talk, which she was great in that, is really good in this. She's the love interest, I guess you could say, but she has way more of a character than just love interest. The supporting cast does a really good job. I'm not gonna say who else is in it. There's a couple surprises that I was like, ooh. But I thought the acting was very good. The only problem I have with the acting is one particular actor, and that is Coleman Domingo, who I thought was great in the movie until the end, where I was like, okay, let's just say he goes from 0 to 100 relatively quickly, and it just felt like, all right, well, there you go. And his character kind of like was there just to kind of tell. I mean, if you saw the trailer, he's there to tell the mythos of Candyman to the main character. I felt like his character was just there for that, and then when they didn't need him, he goes over the top, let's just say. And not that he was bad, I just didn't like that character and where it went. And also just some of the writing's a little like just a little too blatant and obvious. You know, there's a lot of like symbolism to actual, you know, black crimes that has happened in the past and stuff. And some of that stuff is really well done. Others, not so much. I didn't really. I feel like it was a little too obvious. Where I feel like the original Candyman was a little bit more subtle. This one, not so much. But I really enjoyed most of the social commentary in this movie. I didn't think it was like force fed at all. I kept thinking about another really terrible horror movie that came out the last couple of years that has had a lot of this kind of social commentary, which was that Black Christmas remake, which was horrible. And this movie does not do that. It is still a horror movie, by the way. Black Christmas was not. It turned into some feminist action movie at the end, which I'm totally fine with that. Ready or Not was great. I loved what was it called again? Oh my god, what the hell? You're Next. Jesus Christ, I could not remember that. I love feminist horror films. It's just, you know, females main characters, and a lot of people label these things later on as like feminist things. I'm just like, no, it's just a really cool female character. That's what I think of it anyway. But that movie was shit. That Black Christmas one was terrible. Had almost nothing to do with Black Christmas, so it shouldn't have been called that. And also the original Black Christmas was pretty. It had some strong female characters actually that felt like real people. And that movie was terrible. I don't want this to turn into a review on a movie I never reviewed to begin with. I did not like that movie. And I think some people are comparing this to that because that's the last like horror movie that kind of was socially conscious about like what's going on in real world right now. And that movie did it poorly. And this one does it very well. And I will say, like, when it comes to horror stuff, the violence is there. It's very subtle, which I really enjoyed, where like there's a lot of blood, but it's very like in the background. And there's actually one shot. The cinematography in this movie is fantastic. There's one shot where somebody gets killed, and you're not actually expecting it because it just it happens right after like a really like whoa moment. So you're thinking, oh, we're gonna like cool off for a minute, and the camera zooms away from a window in a house, and it just like zooms out, and you just see someone get killed, and you're not expecting it. I'm like, whoa. There's a lot of scenes like that. I really, really appreciate that the violence and the gore and the kills aren't just like, here's a hook. You barely even see the freaking hook in this movie, which I appreciate because Candyman, again, like I said, is not just some, I'm a killer guy, I'm Freddy Krueger, even though Freddy Krueger was way more subtle in the original, but still. He's not like a Jason. Like, that's a better comparison. Where he's just a guy that goes, "I'm gonna freaking knife," or a machete. Don't get upset. Or a pitchfork. You know, he's an actual guy, and he has a tragic story. And I'm glad that they took that, changed it up, added more parts to the lore, and still kept the subtlety and just the smarts about it. It was a smartly written movie for the most part. There's some writing here and there that's a little too obvious, but for the most part, I thought the movie was engaging, entertaining, funny, very well paced, extremely well paced, and very well acted. It's a 90-minute movie, just like the first one. I think the first one's like 95 minutes. Perfect double feature too. Like you can watch both of these and still have enough room to watch, I don't know, one of the sequels, you know, and call it a night. I wouldn't recommend watching one of the sequels though. But if you want to watch the second one, I guess, I mean, that's like a 5 out of 10 at best. The third one is like a 2 out of 10. That is a shit piece of a movie. Day of the Dead, oof, that's a great George A. Romero movie, but the Candyman 3 Day of the Dead is a piece of shit. So I really enjoyed it. I did. I only have a couple of like little issues, but I think the acting really was great for the most part, except for what they do with a certain character towards the end. And I will say the ending itself, I was very happy. That's all I'll say. Well, maybe we'll get into the spoilers in a minute. But that's my review. If I had to give it a score from 0 to 10, I'd probably give it an 8.5. I really enjoyed it. I had a great time. And when I was leaving the theater, I was like, that wasn't disappointing. There were so many movies this year that I feel like were disappointing in some way. The only other one I could think of that wasn't disappointing was Suicide Squad. But there's so many other ones that were just like, meh, yeah. I mean, Pig was great. Green Knight was a little disappointing, but still really great. So I guess maybe not that many disappointing movies. But I feel like I've been very disappointed this year. I don't know why. I don't know. But I think this movie's great. So, Candyman. So now, I'm going to wait until it gets to 10 minutes. All right, now let's get to some spoilers. Really, there's only one thing I really want to talk about. Actually, there's two things. Let's get to the other thing, actually. The first thing is I did a video a few days ago, the first reviews reaction for Candyman. I don't know if anybody watched that that's watching this video. But in that, I actually tried to predict, because I was reading a review that talked about something in particular. And I was like, you know what? I was thinking about, like how this movie will end. I've seen the trailer so many times, especially the last trailer that came out, and how this movie will end. And I guess that the scene in the trailer with the cops getting killed, I figured that would be the ending, and she's gonna be in the car and she's gonna call Candyman. That's why they're getting killed. And you find out that Yahya, is that how you pronounce his name? I swear I've heard everybody say his name was Yahya. Abdul, is it Mateen or Mantine? I should have looked this up. I mean, this is a very casual review. Yeah, so she was going to kill, like, he gets killed for whatever, probably the cops, which I guess that I did say, like, oh, cops will barge in and just shoot him, which was a little awkward. That was one thing that was awkward. It wasn't super clear because he was already on the ground, like, almost dead. And then they bust in and shoot him anyway, even though he's on the ground dead. So it was like, all right, I get it. Cops are assholes. Sure. That stuff was a little less subtle, I will say. I should have said that in my review. That was actually one thing I had a problem with, is that the cop stuff at the end was not subtle. But I didn't really want to spoil it. But here it is. It very much was not. Especially since it didn't set up like a cop character. Even the third movie did that, I think. They set up like a shitty ass cop guy. So I guess credit to that movie? No, not really. But yeah, so there's just a bunch of cops show up at the end. They're all dicks. They're white, so they're evil. The movie doesn't vilify white people. I shouldn't say that. It really doesn't. It just vilifies cops, I guess. But yeah, so Candyman shows up at the end, and it's Yahya's character, Anthony. By the way, everybody predicted, and it was obvious that Anthony was the little baby from the first movie. It was very obvious, especially since in the trailer they show you Vanessa Williams, who was in the original as the mother of the baby. They shouldn't have showed that character in the trailer, because that would have been a nice surprise in the movie, especially since she looks exactly the same as she did 30 years ago. Which I guess it is fucking true that black don't crack. What the fuck? What's the version for white? White isn't tight. What the fuck is it? Because fucking wrinkle. What is it? It has to be that. Her skin's not tight to her. Get it? It's not tight like cool. Like tight like your skin or. You get it. Anyway, she looks great, by the way. And that scene that she's in is one scene. So she's not a character that shows up in the beginning and throughout and stuff. It would have been nice if they didn't spoil that in the trailer, because it's very obvious that, oh, that's where it was going. So that was obvious that he's a great descendant, whatever, of Daniel Robital. I never get his last name right. Candyman. So yeah, I did get that right about the cops. They're getting killed. You see him get killed, so obviously something happens. But she calls him because she's getting set up for the crime, which I got that right, kind of, because the cops were like, hey, it's either you say he was attacking us and we saved you, or we say you did it. So it was pretty much a setup. I was right about that. Yeah, so that pretty much went exactly where I wanted it, where I thought it would, where I wanted it. I really wanted that scene to happen. The thing I loved, the ending made me very happy, because the whole movie I'm like, okay, so when are we gonna get Tony Todd? I was thinking to myself, when are we gonna get him? Because obviously he's not gonna be in it a lot. I wasn't even 100% sure if it was confirmed, like 100% confirmed that he was gonna be in it. There was a lot of rumors, and there was I feel like confirmation, but like since then people have been asking, like, is he in it? Is he in it? Last scene. And you see through the reflection of a car door as Yahya's character Anthony is moving past the car. You see reflection, mirror stuff. They do a lot of that with the cinematography, which I really enjoyed. I really liked all that stuff. It was very well done. Especially since I bet it was a bitch to shoot that, because a camera right in front of a mirror. Like, I bet every time they did mirror shit, they were like, oh fuck, how are we gonna film this now? I'm assuming what they did was just actually, I don't know. You tell me. Maybe you shoot it and then reverse it. I don't know. I didn't make the movie. Anyway, so pretty much the last shot was Tony Todd, and he, Anthony has fully turned into Daniel Robital. When he's just like, tell everyone. I was like, please say be my victim. Because we didn't even get like sweets to the sweet, really. I think it might have been said once. No. I don't think it was. So no Sweets to Sweet, and we didn't get Be My Victim, which that sucks. But you know what? We had Tony Todd at the end, and he looked great. I think they probably did something to de-age him a little bit, but he looked great, and it was just great to see him as Candyman one last time. Unless we do another one, which this movie's doing well, so I'm okay with that. Do another one, please, and get the same people, Jordan and Nia DaCosta, who did a great job, by the way. I didn't even talk about that. You know, hey, do another one. I'm down. Make one more Candyman movie. You don't need to make a bunch more. Just one more. One more would be fun. Yeah, so Tony Todd's at the end. It made me very happy. Right when that happened, I was the only one in the theater. I was like, yeah. I felt I was the only one in the theater like that. I shouldn't say that. Maybe there were other people like, yeah. They just weren't saying it, like, so I couldn't tell. But I felt like I was the only one like, yeah. That's what I came for. Is Tony Todd. And he showed up at the end. It was very, 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 very good scene. I really like it. And that's the ending of the movie. He just tell everyone to the girlfriend, and she's like. Which I understand. I totally get it. But I'll be like, I'll tell fucking everyone. Anyway, I really liked the whole movie. I really did. Like, even the small problems I had here and there, I had no huge problems with those parts. Like, I had little problems. Like, I had a little problem with it. Like, But then the next scene would happen, and it was really good, and it was very tense, and the music was great, by the way. Just almost everything I could think of, besides maybe just some of the writing and some of the character choices, I guess, was great. Honestly, thinking about it, I might have to give this a 9 out of 10. I really, really like this movie. I thought they did a great job. But I'm sure over some time I'll be like, yeah, I guess the cops acted like too much of assholes towards the end, which really brought it down just a little bit, because they were just cartoonish. Luckily, they weren't in the movie a lot. I thought the whole movie was going to be about cop violence. Luckily, it wasn't that. It was used enough, perfectly enough. Anyway, there you go. That's that. So that's my, I guess, review and then spoiler discussion for Candyman 2021. I want to do more reviews like this because usually I don't like doing reviews anymore. I used to do movie reviews all the time, and it was like one of those things where I never really enjoyed it because I'm like writing scripts and stuff. I'm like, this is one of those things I like YouTube because I just kind of have fun on it. This shouldn't be a job, really. I mean, it can be a job, obviously, but it's, it's a thing I do daily. I love it. I really have a good time, but sometimes it's just like, well, I'm writing scripts out for something that might get a couple hundred views and nobody really comments. It's one of those things. So I like to do reviews like this where it's just, I don't even have notes. I had not a single note, and you probably could tell. Screw it. Usually I actually have at least notes. If it's one full review, I'm just talking. Usually I have notes to glance down at, but this time I was like, nah, let's just go. Let's go, because I know me, I write down the notes and stuff, like 30 minutes later, I have everything I want to think up, and I'm like, I don't want to do the video now. So I'm just like, let's go, right now, I want to talk about it. So, anyway, say it. I dare you. I dare you. Say it. Say Candyman. Say the Baba Man. Say bye-bye, man. Oh, no, bye-bye man's going to come and get me now. He's like an infection for my brain. Anybody remember bye-bye man? I do. Ooh, scary bye-bye man. Ooh, he's gonna get you. Fucking stupid movie.